Everybody, my name's Adeo. I'm CEO of the Decile Group. I am joined here by Woody. He's on our technical team. Woody, do you want to make a quick introduction?
Yeah, I'm the product lead here. If you guys ever have Decile Hub questions, I'm a great resource. Excited to be here and talk about some of the things we've built today.
I would say that what would like 70% of the incoming customer requests or more are directly reviewed or answered by Woody. Would you say that's about right?
Yeah, so I think 70% might be low these days even. So yeah, if you guys have
Yeah, I
issues with
mean, you
Hub, I'll
don't,
be
you
the
may
one helping.
respond to more, but you don't do them. So Woody's like a beast. He's just happy and in there dealing with customers every day and helping them out. Okay, let me I'm gonna tell you how I'm gonna structure today, and Woody's here to help out because we have so much cool stuff to show. I want to talk a little bit about what we built, right? I'm a power user. I also am very involved in the product side, so I know very much what we built because of the architecture of what we created is phenomenal. It's the future of AI, all right? Then I'm going to talk about some of the newest things that we've released that are really just showing where AI is going with VC in the world. And then last but not least, if we have time, I'm going to show some things that we built that have been around for a little bit. Actually, everything is always being updated. So, but I'm going to show some stuff that's been around a little more, so you may have seen, but I'm going to save that for the end. So you're going to see mostly new stuff, our whole vision of the architecture first, and then some things you may have seen at the very end. So let's talk about the architecture. So we did something incredibly awesome in that we created an architecture for AI that is really how AI should be built going forward. And I'm going to say that I posted an article about it. Interestingly enough, on social media, it didn't get, considering the fact that I outlined the future of AI, it didn't really get as much traction as I would have expected. But I'm going to try and let me see if I can find it for you guys. Okay, here are the steps to AI excellence. So I'm going to get you the link to it. This is in, if you're interested in learning exactly what we did in more detail, here's an article. I'm pasting it in the chat. So you'll have it in the chat there. Oop, I posted it to hosts and panelists. So I'll post it to everyone now. So let me walk you through what we did. The first thing we did is in order to run a modern AI with venture capital, and I'll share my screen to show you some of this stuff, right? You need to have really a knowledge base. And so what we did is we built this Stack Overflow style knowledge base for venture capital where anyone can ask any question about anything and then an expert will answer it. And this knowledge base, which is really the definitive way that people today can ask questions and learn about venture capital, because venture capitalists themselves don't document what they're doing, right? And people working in venture capital don't write long things about how stuff is done. So the stuff you see on the internet about how venture capital works are usually written by people in learning programs like the Columbia program or in Kaufman Fellows, and it's just wrong. So if you went and read the internet about how to run a venture capital firm, you would get largely incorrect information, which means that the LLM's knowledge base on how to operate venture capital is also wrong. So whether you use Grok, OpenAI, it will get some things right, some basic things, but it doesn't really know how things work. So we had to build our own knowledge base, right, for it to work. Then, once that knowledge base was built, we had to connect all the different data sets in our application. So now we have how does venture capital work? And then we need all the data connected. Then we had to put the plumbing in so that you could use different LLMs on the data, and then we made it agentic. And that we have these really cool toolkits now where we can build things very quickly with the knowledge, the tools, all the plumbing. So for example, I can make AI toolkits, right? Um, I can add the knowledge, right, of our AI. Um, I can allow documents to be uploaded, allow it to run in the background. It can be agentic. These are our tools. And then I can say, hey, with this data, I'm going to use a model. And as you can see here, we have tons of models from Claude, GPT, Perplexity, and others. I can set the temperature. I could say, hey, what tools? I want to do research with Perplexity. I want to search the account files. I want to suggest updates, so be able to update the data in the system. So you can add all these tools. I can even say sort of what background tools, data is available, all this stuff, provide instructions. And this now, what we've done, because we have how venture capital works, all the different data sources, all the plumbing, we can do really amazing things. And I'm going to show you some of those amazing things that we can do. Before I go on to the amazing things that we can do, is there any things you want to add on the plumbing, Woody?
Um, I'll just add that I want everyone to know this is a real look behind the curtain. This is our internal tool for building these AI toolkits. So this is something that's Decile admin only, not something you get to see every day. So cool thing you get to
Yeah,
see
we're
on today's
showing you the
webinar.
deep inside. So what that allows you to do, let me go over, I want to keep that page open. But what it allows you to do, so let's say I go to fundraising, allows you to do pretty neat things. So um, one of the an example, because it knows all about venture capital, it's got this super intelligent plumbing, it's connected to all this stuff. You can do things like global search. So now I'm showing you a sample of our AI for VC powered platform, right? And there's a guy in our company, Travis. He's also in the CRM, but I'm going to misspell his name, TRVS, Travs. And now the AI's got to figure out what the hell am I saying here. I just wrote TRVS. So it's like, let me search across everything for TRVS. Well, it figures out that TRVS is probably not something real. I might be referring to Travis Giggy. He's our one of our team members, right? It's also maybe you mean Trin or Nicholas Trad, so it's also making some other guesses on names. Um, it's also figuring out organizations that might have some sort of TRVS type thing in it, investor prospects, files. So it's able to take kind of gibberish, right? Which is a totally misspelled name, and make some great educated guesses on what that might be, and then find across the entire application prospects, files, everything that might be related to it. And this is really what the future of AI is, because you can do things like, oh, I met someone at a conference 2 weeks ago, and I think their name was John, and they work at Google, and this will find it, right? Because it's got this adaptive side. But beyond just doing cool things like that, if one of the things that everyone here can access, and I'll put the link in the chat for you, is I think it's base, right? Oh, AI. Okay. So let me put this into the chat for everybody. Uh, Woody, my chat disappeared. Let me see if I can get it back here. Yeah, got it back. So I'm going to put the link to this in the chat. Um, what you're going to see this is our consumer facing, so public AI. It's working off the knowledge base, so you can ask it anything, but we've built some really neat adaptive learning modules for you with all of the plumbing that I just talked about. So if you want to learn about VC, or you want to build your thesis, or you want to learn about being an LP, we have these power tools. And these tools are very easy to make because we have all the knowledge, right? And all of the plumbing. So let's learn a little bit about VC, right? So what it's going to do right now is, obviously the system knows more about VC than any LLM ever, because the training data for common LLMs is wrong. So what this is doing is it's building an adapted, on the fly course. And so you say, look, I'm kind of basic, so I want to learn about venture capital. And it's going to build dynamically based on the most up to date information available in the world today, a course for you, right, in real time. So we'll talk to you about venture capital, everything you need to know, and then you can learn more, you can ask questions, you can take a quiz, and you can even explore related topics. So let's say I want to take a quiz on this basic information. Again, it will build for you a dynamic quiz based on the information it knows that it's shown you. So again, it will say question 1 and 5. What's the primary characteristic that distinguishes venture capital from traditional bank loans? Um, Now, obviously, that's wrong. So it's going to say wrong, right? So again, just this is a powerful example of, once you have all of the knowledge, a great LLM ready to go, you can do some adaptive learning, amazing things. And then now it knows, hey, you got this question wrong. Once you finish the quiz, it will start introducing, hey, do you want to learn more about what differs venture capital from banks? So it's pretty amazing what you can do when you have the plumbing in place. I want to show you lots. I have so many cool things to show, Rudy. What would you say? Chrome plugin and then deal sharing?
Yeah, I like deal sharing or pipeline just the new deal memo, like AI
Yeah,
diligence
yeah.
is
Let's
yeah,
let's
okay.
do Chrome plugin first. So one of many of you have probably seen this before, but we did a pretty cool upgrade. So I'm gonna, in this limited partner funnel, obviously there's George Washington. I'm sure he's going to be a great. You can remove people, add people, etc. We have some pretty cool AI toolkits, right? One of them, discover LPs to pitch. I'm going to show more of these. And the neat thing about this is that it will take your fund, and let's say this fund has this thesis. Acme Ventures is launching a $70 million fund. Yeah, it's the correct thesis, or you can revise your thesis. And then it's going to say, like, what type of LPs are you looking for? Smaller, medium, or large? Let's go to medium. Okay. And now it's going to start recommending LPs for us to go after. One of the neat things that we did with our new updates here is, not only is it telling you the type, like, hey, look for tech executives, former CTOs. Um, it will start drafting emails. It will even recommend events that you can organize to get them. And then it's going to go, here are the people to search for. So many of you have seen this before, where you can search for people. You can look at your first degree connections very easily. I know Hugo pretty well, so I'll go into Hugo here. I think he'd be a great LP candidate for me. And we made a really neat upgrade to our AI importing tools. So when I click my AI importing tool here, it's going to actually now make a persistent panel in the side, hey, showing I want to add Hugo, but Hugo's worked at different organizations that I can add, but I want to add Hugo. So I click Hugo, and it's going to build a pretty advanced profile for Hugo here. It's guessing that he's a limited partner, put him in the added stage. I can add tags. It's going to write a profile on him, background, everything. And then I just hit import. And now I've got a really rich text and fully enriched profile of Hugo that's been added to my limited partner funnel. So there he is, Hugo, right? And when I click on Hugo here, now interestingly enough, just on this Chrome extension, the Chrome extension keeps active. So if I go back to this Hugo page, it's going to go back and look at Hugo. But I could go and say, hey, I want to now go to another page, to this, the main page of LinkedIn. I want to look at Christina, and it's going to build, hey, here's Christina. So this Chrome plugin now follows you wherever you go and says, if you go to TechCrunch or wherever, it's going to say, oh, what's happening on this TechCrunch page, like what companies are being mentioned, et cetera. And it's going to allow you to write about TechCrunch, the organization, people, Google Vids. So if I go into SkyChip here, it's going to adapt to SkyChip. So it's a really quick way that you can pull data from anything that you're reading as a venture capitalist right into the CRM, whether it be information about a company that you're thinking to invest in. Uh, you can enhance an existing company, you can create a new company, enhance an existing contact, create a new contact, and it's right here, easy to use. Let's go back quickly to the limited partner funnel with Hugo. So Hugo's added. I'm going to close the, and we have a really nice, a new, beautiful profile for Hugo. You can see their rating and probability, all the actions that happened. You can see the he was just added with this profile. And since I've connected my email, it's going to show me all of the emails that I've had with Hugo, etc. So it's a really powerful tool with really nice looking, here's his obviously LinkedIn, some really important with really nice looking features, etc. That makes the importing the experience very powerful. I want to show one more thing about emailing. Is there anything else you want to add about the browser or the Chrome plugin, Woody?
No, works on every website, and we'll show you a better way to use emails to forward it. But even if you're looking at an email in like Gmail, it can import that data too.
So, hey, Woody, there you are, buddy.
There
I'm
I
going to
am.
send you an email. Now, one of the nicest, newest things that we've done that's really cool with email is that we have all these templates. Like, I just want to introduce myself to Woody. Now, obviously, this is a pretty boring template. And before, you could customize the templates, but it wouldn't really sound like you. So, what we did that's really cool, guys, is we read your email, and when you connect it, and we have a secure AI that learns how you write. And I'll show you where you can edit that. And then it just writes like you. So you see this right in the sender tone. So I just click this, and it's going to rewrite this email to Woody, and it's going to sound exactly like I would write it versus some stock template. Hope you're well. Nice to connect. It's been working on exciting news. 10 million. These pretty compelling. So this is much more in my tone. Now, not only does it know how I write and it starts to write like me, and I can edit that, but it knows the full context of every email that I've ever sent with Woody. And so it brings that context in with Woody. If I added Woody and I have notes about Woody's career, it adds the context of his career and everything else. So it creates really like a perfect first draft email for you based on how you write and the whole history with Woody. And of course, you can have all the AI stuff. I've shown this before. Actually, Woody's a good friend, so you can switch it around that way. It doesn't have to be in English. Let's say Woody speaks Spanish. And so it's going to take a second there, so you can switch it. I'll let it update. Now I want to put it in, let's say, I don't know, what's a funny Hindi. So not that you're Indian, maybe one day. And so it will translate the email now into Hindi. or Chinese or Spanish or most common languages. And it just saves you a lot of time and effort because you don't have to look up the whole history with Woody. You don't have to recall everything that Woody does. You don't have to make it in your own style. And just to show you where it saves your style, so if I go up here and I go down here to edit profile, you're going to see writing style, tone, vocabulary, distinct features, intro style, signature block. So it's read my emails and built this profiling of me and how I write. But I can go in here and say, I actually don't. I like shorter emails, so maybe 50 to 100 words, right? And then I can save that, and then it's going to do shorter emails going forward. So, Woody, is there, before I move on to the deal sharing, is there anything you want to add about the email, the writing and stuff, and the Chrome plugin?
No, you've got it all covered with the pulling in the entire conversation and email history. If you have our upgraded Gmail integration, we get all of that history with the person. And you can choose, we respect your privacy. You can choose even on a person by person basis who you sync that history with.
Right. So you can connect Microsoft accounts, Gmail accounts, and then yes. So back to that. Do you do it under here? You can say, hey, do I
Yeah,
want to
might be under
synchronize?
show more,
Show more where?
a little bit to the left there, a little bit down.
Well, you
Uh,
get here is where you set in this tab is where you connect. You can
yeah.
say, hey, I want to do AI analysis on this person, or I don't want to do analysis on this person. Um, Going it should so let's go over to the deal flow section because this is some really neat stuff here. So we've now enabled one-click deal sharing, and you share it with a closed network of people in Decile Hub, and you can even right now you share it with the smaller Decile Hub community, which is still pretty big. And soon we're going to allow you to actually share it with just people that you're interested in. So there's a lot of new features here. Is the share button enabled? Because I'm seeing enrich with AI, but I'm not seeing the deal sharing. Do I need?
Yeah, just 3 columns down from Enrich with AI. It's right behind this little dropout right now. If you close it, yeah, it's
Oh yeah, share this
yeah, there you
deal.
go.
Sorry. Okay. I was getting okay. So let's say I close this. I want to find a deal. So I have actually I one of the cool things that you can do right now, if you see up here, there's this email. So you have an email address for every single pipeline in Hub. And you can literally take any email that you have. And I don't know, did you do this with an email or I did it
Yeah,
with it.
yeah,
So
I did. I can show you. Likewise
yeah,
is one of the
let me
ones.
let me let me just show this share, and I'll turn it over to you on the deal memo stuff. So I actually emailed in this deal. This is a friend of mine starting a company, and when I emailed it in, what's really neat is it pulled everything from the email really intelligently because it uses AI to process it. So much so it rates the deal, everything else. I took the rating down, but it originally gave it a rating. Um, and it did everything there. And so I'll just show you some of the stuff that it did. It wrote a description of the deal that you can see there. It figured out who the founder was. It figured out what the traction was. It figured out the industries. It figured out where it was domiciled. So you can see, then it built a profile. So a friend sent me this deal and I just took this email from my friend and forwarded it in. So I know the CEO, Lisa, but my friend gave me the deal and I just forwarded my friend's email. So it figured out that my friend wasn't the CEO, I wasn't the CEO, Lisa was the CEO. There wasn't any information on the funding rounds. This shows all the activity that happened, me forwarding it in, etc. This shows all the notes that the AI built about the deal. It also took the deck from the deal and everything else that was in there and put it in the LLM, and it made the email, the deck, and everything available so that if I want to now say, hey, I like this deal, I think it's pretty good, I want to share it. And keep in mind, this took me 20 seconds. Okay. I saw a deal in email, I forwarded it in, it built this really great profile in seconds, right? And now I'm like, I like the deal. I want to share it with the community. I hit this button and it says what it's doing right now, as you can see, is it's building answers to questions that people want to know. So, what's my investor role? I'm advising. What's the deal source? I'll say known investor, and it writes what the bet is, why I think this is a good company. It writes the founder information. It writes its short description, all the tags, all the stuff. All this done is by AI, right? It figured out the deal terms from the email. I can upload stuff, or I could select a file because it knows. So maybe I want to attach the original deck, which came from the email, with one click. And all I need then to do is click this button, and the deal is then shared to the network. So it took about 20 seconds to put the deal into the system with all the possible information about it. And, another few seconds for me to click a couple things, make some edits, and share a deal and get funding for this company. So I want to pause for a moment. I'll show what the shared deals look like. How awesome is that? Because I see you guys chatting. Is that pretty awesome? Like, would this save you time and effort? And I haven't even shown some of the coolest things yet. Okay, I'm guessing people don't think it's GR8, so it's great. Anyone else think it's awesome, or is it just me that thinks it's awesome? You can post in the chat. Super awesome. All right. Um, all right, so let me show you what it looks like when it's shared. So again, sharing deals, I can tell you I've seen people build um, there's a question or a comment from Veronica about disclosure. So back to what we said earlier, Veronica, you can choose what you want to make available to the AI. And all of the AIs that interact with sensitive data are AIs that we have policies that they do not use the data for external purposes. So, like, OpenAI has questionable privacy and security. So, we don't use, for example, OpenAI with any sensitive data, as an example, right? So we wouldn't send your deal stuff through OpenAI, right? So we can pick which AI we use for which task. So that's just and you as the user can choose to enable or disable AI for down to the level of individual deals or individual prospects. So you can turn it on or off for things, okay? But let's go back now to what it looks like when it's shared. But so these tools are really designed to save you lots of time and effort. So when you end up sharing it, and I didn't share landings because I don't have permission from the founder to share it out. But let's go now to what it looks like when it's shared. So you're going to have something called Decile Research. And this is a couple new things. I'm going to show deal sharing first. I think it's hidden right now because we haven't shared a deal. So I probably should have shared a deal. But right now, in order to see all the shared deals, and it's probably good that it's hidden for you guys anyway, you have to share a deal. To see a deal, you have to share a deal. but here are all the deals. And what we've done that's really cool is we because we know your thesis, right? Your thesis is in the system. We know what deals are good for you. So here there are 9 deals that are good for me. There are another 30 deals that are maybe okay, and then another 20 deals that are kind of expiring soon. So we only show deals that are open, active, and relevant. And the second you pass the financing date, they roll off the sharing. And so this is when they're getting close to expiring, and when they're expiring, they're off. But the thing that we do that's really cool is we can figure out how relevant a deal is for you, and we rate it, and we show you first the most relevant deals. Now, it's probably good because this is a public webinar, back to disclosure, that we're not showing every deal publicly, but this is where the deals are. We're not just showing deals, everybody. We also have limited partners, and we have a list of the largest limited partners in the world that you can access right here. And we're always adding to this list. Now you can see their names and stuff and their LinkedIn details, and then it's up to you to find connections to limited partners. So our Decile research is doing more than just getting you deals. It's also finding you top limited partners around the world. So there's a lot of questions in there about AI in the chat. If you have questions for Woody and I, there's a Q&A button at the bottom. Definitely put your questions into the Q&A button on the bottom. Now, Woody, I know that beyond deal sharing, you want to show the deal memo component. Should I turn it over to you to share some stuff?
Yeah, is that all right for just one feature?
Yeah,
And
yeah. Come on,
I'll
Woody.
add on the deal sharing we just talked about. We're filtering on your thesis, and that includes your region also. So it is not like, you're investing in MENA and we're going to show you something in East Asia or something. We also filter based on your region. So it really should be deals that are worth you reviewing. So we're really excited about that. But like Adeo said, we've also made some really awesome improvements to our deal memo process. And previously, we're trying to build this to be a much more comprehensive deal analysis tool. The term deal memo often kind of means what you do maybe at the end of the life cycle. Company comes into your sphere, you maybe make a quick decision on them, do some diligence, maybe call with the founder, do further diligence, some sort of review process, maybe with your investment committee or board, and then you might write a formal investment memo or deal memo on whether you want to invest in this company or not. We are trying to get this process way more integrated from the start, and advances in AI have let us do that. Just like we are doing the one click, 0 click, just forward us an email and we will put this entire thing into your pipeline. We're trying to improve a similar process with deal memos. So I'm going to use Likewise. This is a AI content recommendation company. And if we see here on all of these companies, there is an enrich with AI button. And if you are to open that up, you'll get a little modal, and it's asking you for the company website, any relevant documents for the company, and you can also paste in raw notes. So if you use an AI note taker, for example, maybe while you're on the call with the founder, you can just paste those in, and it will take all of this context, all of the files attached to the company, and
It
it
will
will,
read the company's website, guys.
yes,
It will
sorry, we are
actually go
scraping
to
the
the company's
website.
website
Yeah,
or TechCrunch article or whatever.
yeah.
Take all of that content in, and Woody?
Yes, exactly. And I'll make a note, the pipeline email ingester, if you forward an email that doesn't have an attachment but does just have a link, or it'll read every link in that email also and try and parse that for any information relevant to that business. So I've done that already for this company, and we're going to see you guys still see my screen? Yes?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
It's
just making
awesome.
sure. This is our deal memo page, but what you'll see is Now we are having the AI in a huge swath do your due diligence basic questions for you. We've marked which questions are much more objective, fact-based, would just require you to go into the deck or look at your notes to review and to answer. And we've gone ahead and just pre-generated AI answers to each of them. So things like, what company is this problem solving? How does it solve it? And stuff like that. We have the AI generate the answers to those questions for your deal flow and analysis. And because we know hallucination is greatly decreased since some of the earlier LLMs, but we want you to be confident in that data. We also provide exactly where that data is getting pulled from. So for example, you can say, oh, this is the PDF for this deck this company is attached on page 3. And I can prove it to you, this is talking about, basic, what is this company doing? If this goes us to page 3, this exactly talks about what are the pain points that this company is solving. So we pre-generate all these answers for AI. You can still edit them to your, as much as you want. You can rewrite them. And, even has smart answers like, macroeconomic risk factors for the company. This one thinks not applicable. We know that AI is great and is really good at answering these objective questions. But the whole reason, the art and success of being a venture capitalist is making the right calls and having correct conviction. We leave a lot of the conviction-based questions unanswered. And you can still use the AI to help you draft these answers, but we leave these unanswered to not bias you because we know that that insight and that alpha from you, the fund manager, is still so important. So that's the big release we released this week, and we also have some more cool widgets and features in this coming in the next few weeks of some market competition research and founder background checks too. But this is what we've got for this week. Look for those in a couple weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't imagine how much time this saves. And the nice thing is, back to what Woody was saying, if it doesn't have the answer, it will just write an A. There was a couple
Yeah.
questions in the chat and we'll get to them, but please, if you don't mind, copy your questions into the Q&A. There's some security questions. If I can take back over sharing of the screen, Woody, just to go through the last few things, and then we'll go through the questions that have come in. So obviously we're doing a lot of stuff, right? So let's go back here to my view. And I want to take you through probably like one more area of cool stuff. There's so much cool stuff. It's like, where do we begin? But let's go over to these AI toolkits that we have. So what we've done that's really neat is, and they are quote unquote in beta, as you can see. We've said, okay, learn about venture capital, create a fund thesis, prepare to pitch confidants, request a commitment. And so we can go to any of these. I want to show a couple of them. So prepare to pitch confident. I have different funds in this demo account. So you have to pick which fund you want to pitch confidants for, right? And then it's well, it does that. I'm just going to move AI toolkits up so they're a little easier for us to get. All right, so is this the fun thesis you want to use? Yes, hit it. And it's actually going to role play confidants or potential early limited partners so it's say, okay, I'm going to go pitch a family member and it's going to be conversational. Okay. And so now the AI is going to work on building a script to pitch a family member in a conversational way. And I can expand the dialogue and even role play. So AI now lets you say, like, okay, you got your thesis, you're ready to go, but you haven't really pitched before. You're going to pitch people you know first. Why don't we walk through how to do it? It will show you how to do it. And then you can even role play. So it will be like, and you hit the role play button, or you could type role play, whichever you prefer. And it's going to start pretending to be, hey there, good to see you. I'm doing well. Uh, go ahead and give me details about your fund. It's like, and then you write out what you would say. And actually, um, so I'm going to give it kind of a bad answer. Let's see if it should grade it, tell me how to make the answer better, and then give me a new question. 4 out of 10. So I didn't do very well, but I knew it was bad. And it's going to tell you how to do better, and it's going to ask the next question. So it really helps you to prepare. So that's just preparing to pitch. It does a lot of other neat things. So it knows your thesis, right? And so you've got to write some social posts. So again, you pick the fund you want to write social posts for. It's going to research news about your industry, your region, your vertical. This takes a little bit of time because it's doing online research using Perplexity and other things. It's going to come back with a bunch of different things that are happening in the world today, and then it's going to help you draft social and other posts around those hot topics. Just again, saving you time and effort. Man, I got to write social posts. I don't know what to write today. Well, I'll find all the news that's happening in the world and help you write the post. Obviously, this one takes a little longer. So while that one's running, maybe I'll show you another one. So if that were not enough, helping you find LPs, helping you pitch, helping you do social, it will also build your deck. So I'll show that while we're waiting for it to do the research here. So again, you pick the fund you want a deck for. Now look, for most fund ones, the stuff is pretty standard. What's your title slide, thesis slide, team slide, value add, market, track record, etc. Now, it's making some guesses, right? Because it doesn't know data, but it has some data because it's connected to the systems and all this stuff. So it's writing based on what it knows. It's making some stuff up. It will give you proposed optional slides. And then you say, hey, do you want to start fleshing this deck out with real data, such as around your team? So yeah, let's add team member details. And then it's going to ask you for stuff. And so you're going to interact with it, give it more data, and it's going to actually build all the slides in your deck for you based on best practices in the world right this moment about what works with LPs, because it's got all that knowledge we talked about in the beginning of the thing. So let's go back to this industry stuff. Okay, so AI startups capture 64% of venture capital. That's a news item. Pre-seed AI startup actively and show strong validation focus. And so then you could say, hey, I like this story angle here. Boom. And now that it's done all the research, it's going to start writing social posts for you based on that short post, long posts, etc., that you can then edit, repurpose, and use. So these tools are really powerful. And maybe I'll show you my favorite tool. There's actually a tool that impersonates me and Mike Supervici, my co-founder. It's the AI advisor. So again, if I pick the fund, um, it knows all this stuff about how the fund is operating, and it's going to give me very tactical, strategic advice on what exactly to do next. So based on your fund data is in the closing stage, you've secured 5.2 million, da da da, advice. And this advice impersonates me, and you're in an enviable position since you're already investing, and it will give you an actual plan on what to do that's very tactical based on exactly where you are, because Mike and I have given so many pieces of advice to people that's captured in the system in our that it can then personalize our advice that we've given to, again, over and over again, to your specific situation based on where you are with commitments, where you are with the fund progress, and everything else. I know we've got lots of questions and 12 minutes left, so why don't we jump over to some of those questions? Um, Before we get to the questions, did people find what we showed pretty cool, awesome? What were your thoughts overall? You can thumbs up.
I think these tools are very cool, but I'm biased.
All right, Veronica's asking, there was a question in the chat that I want to address while the coolness stuff is coming in. Thanks, guys. 11 out of 10. That's pretty awesome. Um, there's a question. Hey, like Affinity, does the CRM allow you to see emails from other people or hide emails from other people? Maybe I'll just show that quickly since that's a question that can be shown. So the answer to that question is yes, you can see the emails to other people, and yes, you can hide the emails to other people. So there's an activity panel, and if there are emails, and this is all sample data, so if there are emails, they will appear in the activity panel if that's enabled for the prospect, and they will not appear in the activity panel if it's disabled. So you can in fact say, hey, this prospect, I want everybody to see what's going on. In addition to that, by the way, everybody, meaning everybody who has access to that specific uh, pipeline. So, for example, you may not allow someone to see the fundraising pipeline at all. So, of course, they not only will not see the pipeline, they will not see the activity. So, if you have access to the pipeline, then you can turn on and off access to emails in the system.
And
Veronica's asking.
can I add
Yeah,
one
yeah.
quick comment on that too? This is related to what Shakti was asking also of um, we were talking about you can choose how much email activity you also sync with people also. If we're under this little show more, you can say sync everything, don't sync anyone for this person, or only sync threads that are started from Hub of like you send an email from Hub and then all the replies and back and forth get synced. And you can also set an account-wide default for this too under your settings and then firm settings too. So you've got a lot of control on that.
Okay. Veronica's asking on the AI toolkit manager, does it required me to know which AI tool is better for my search? Um, so no, what we've done, Veronica, is uh, like we do the pre-testing and pick on the back end the AI that works best, is the proper level of security, etc., for the task at hand at the builder. So, for example, researching news about your thesis, kind of, you can use any AI, right? There's no privacy or security matter there. There's public news you're searching for, right? So there's low security concerns there. And so we use Perplexity. We use actually a bunch of AIs on that one to find the news related to your thesis. And it's a low security concern. Conversely, if you're working on a deal memo, that's a high security concern, and we want to make sure that the data has no hallucination. So we test various AIs, we find the best AI for security, least hallucinations, etc., and then we use that one. There's another question in the Q&A, which is where you can put your questions, please, from Dustin. Can the Decile AI recommend deals you should share and people in your network you should share based on the thesis, or is that something I build in the toolkit? Dustin, the toolkit builder is just available for us at the moment. Maybe one day we'll make it available for you. Trust me, some of the buttons I have no idea what they do, and I'm in the company. So they're not ready for public consumption. So right now, it doesn't. You share whatever deal you want to share, and then that shared deal will get prioritized to people who match the criteria. Woody brought up its geography, its industry, its stage, and it's AI fuzzy matching, right? So it's actually very good, right? Because the problem with past more deterministic matching is like sometimes you could say New York, which is in America, but you'd have to write a lot of logic to figure it out. So this will say like East Coast is New York, America is New York, right? It does really good fuzzy matching using the AI on the deal sharing. Um, it will share right now to the entire relevant group of people in Decile Hub. And in the future, we're going to allow you to share to specific people of your choosing. That's the next set of releases that's coming. Julie's asking, this is so powerful for surfacing best fit deals for my fund. What are the implications for founders raising? Um, that's a great question, Julie. Where we want to get to, guys, is that eventually um, we want VCs to go to founders. So we're going to have, and this is coming, we have researchers all around the world, hundreds of them, that are submitting deals. We're finding the deals that are the best and we're putting them into this marketplace. So you'll be able then to find from all around the world, obviously, if you're in a part of the world, it will show your part of the world, great deals that match exactly your thesis that have been discovered by hundreds of our scouts worldwide and matched perfectly to you. And so, what that means for the founder, Julie, is that for the first time in that I'm aware of, a founder will have appropriate venture capitalists come to them inbound, right? Saying like, "Oh, your deal really matches what I'm interested. Your background as a founder matches what I'm interested. I really like what you're doing. I'd love to get a meeting with you inbound." All right. That's insane. That's like the panacea of everything. By the way, we've already done this for VCs. Our LP to GP marketplace, we put you as an investor in there, and LPs come to you inbound. I'll show you this. Okay. I probably can't show it to you actually because it's real data, but we feature GPs in a marketplace. LPs are like, oh, I really want to meet this GP, and they come to you inbound, and we're going to do the same thing with deals. All right, so it's super exciting. Um, Monica's asking, what's the best way to use the LP pipeline from Decile Research? Great question. So we're showing you LPs, what they're interested in, blah, blah, blah. But these are mega big LPs, right? So they're LPs that are going to take you about 1 to 3 years to build a relationship. So these are not LPs that you're like, boom, what's up, buddy? How are you doing? Let's get it. You're in. Great. They are institutional LPs that take 1 to 3 years. So you got to find a connector who's going to refer you in. And we have actually the tools to do that. I didn't show it. The new Decile Chrome plugin shows you who you know that knows that person and saves it into the system so that you know your connector to that prospect. So you work through a connector to build relationships. We got 3 minutes. We got two questions. Narayan is asking, can you share more about how you see agentic AI tools boosting the power of what Decile Hub can do in the future? Do you want to take that, Woody? Because I've been
Sure. I mean,
speed.
this is like the fun slam dunk sort of question of what do we envision future AI features to look like? I'm going to highlight some of the work Travis has already done, and some of you may have seen this. He's built this amazing AI pitching confidant tool. A lot of fundraising is similar in some ways, if we're being frank, to high-level financial sales. You are convincing people to join you on this investment and your vision, and it's a wealth management vehicle or direction. And a lot of people come into venture capital not necessarily having that sort of experience. So we're building tools to help you be confident into pitching LPs and like practice pitching LPs. Kind of, Adeo demoed it a little bit, but like being able to teach you exactly the hard skills you need to do and practice those skills. We've got ideas for AI dashboards that kind of just tell you, if you're looking for a simpler view, just what do I do next? What is at the very top of my priority list in terms of what is the most urgent actions I need to do to push my firm forward? Those are some
Woody,
big
we got a
hand-wavy
minute left.
ideas.
Let me
Yeah.
do, and I see the hands up because we're running out of time. Two quick things. There's a question about pricing and that just on the agentic thing. We have an MCP server, so you can run your whole experience with Decile Hub using Claude and just be like, hey, I want to add an LP and send a newsletter, and it will add the LP and send the newsletter. So the agentic is there today. Aaron, the price is free. There's usage caps that if you hit, you pay, but it's optional. We just get nagged to pay. So basically, it's free with, and if you hit a usage cap, then you get nagged to pay. And what is the rate right now, Woody? Because you built that, is it 499 or is it discounted? I
It's
believe.
discounted for the first year off of the 499. Yeah.
So it's two 49. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 249 a month if you hit the usage caps, but you could also just dismiss, so it's free. Guys, though, sign up, go to decilehub.com and hit sign up. You have to join a waiting list, but I'm approving everybody right now pretty quickly with the team. So join the waiting list, you'll get an invite. The invites do expire. So and we have about 1,000 funds that use it pretty regular firms that use it pretty regularly. Now, I know that we're at time, and there's a couple more questions in here. Woody, did you have a good time? I had a
Yeah.
good time.
Thanks. This is like the funnest one. This is the coolest, do flashiest features. So it's fun for us.
Yeah, you got to see some and trust me when I say you're seeing the tip of the iceberg. There's more we didn't show and a lot more coming. This was awesome, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it and have a great day. Thanks, guys.